Hello, Sydney here, and welcome to the Drunken Ork. Now, if you're like me, you like playing Warhammer 40,000. And if you're not, bye. Unless you're here for the models. If you just like doing the models, that's also good. So, welcome. But there are no models in this episode. Apologies. But come back next time and there'll be more stuff for you. Like models. But one of the problems with 40k, one of the many problems with 40k, is the amount of space that it actually takes up. Now, I'm not just talking that sort of, well, we're going to put in minis, where's all my armies go type of space, but also the space it takes to actually play it. Now, this is what GW say is the minimum battlefield size for your games. Now, this is minimum. You can go bigger. And to be totally honest, if you want, you can go smaller as well. But Strike Force, smack bang in the middle, not the biggest games, not one of the smaller games, 44 inches by 60 inches. Fantastic. So with my sights being set on my first game, what I done was I ran out and I bought a battle mat. I say ran out, I didn't actually get out my seat, but you know, it's 2022. I'm not getting up. You get up. I used a Goblin Gaming affiliate link, which I got off a friend and fellow Ork player, 6plus Stevo. Maybe you've heard of him, he's quite a big deal. And bought this vast sprawling piece. Double-sided, don't you know? The problem with this mat is it acts more like a tablecloth when put on my rinky-dinky dining room table. It hangs over the edges. Because it's neoprene, TM, maybe, it does kind of floppily-doppily down, remains flat on top, and then when you pick it up, there's no creases. So, after having a discussion with the bread knife to see if I could go out and buy a Viking style 10 foot by 6 foot dining table with axe marks and spelks, she said, no, you can't, don't be stupid. So I decided to make a tabletopper, TM, maybe, in order to play the games on. So where else better to start a DIY project of this magnitude than my local B&Q? Other hardware stores are available. So from here I picked up this absolutely massive bit of MDF. It's about 18mm thick, which I think is about 3/4 of an inch. And it's about 2.4 metres long, which I think is about 97 inches maybe. And about half that wide. Because this was a bit big, I decided some rough calculations in my head and on my phone to decide how I was going to chop this up. There we go. Now I didn't make these notes with a black pudding. These are actually written on my phone, that's why they look massively thick, and like I did them with my toes. Basically, I wanted 60cm chopped off the end, with two 10cm bits taken off the top of that, and then two slices off the side of another 10cm. The remaining piece, which is going to be the board itself, just chop it in half. And that was so I can fit it in the car to take it home. Now the reason I've done these on my phone in B&Q, well, the hardware shops are available, was because they've got a lovely service where a lad with a big saw cuts these lines for you. So he done all the chopping, saving me minimum cutting effort. No permission was granted for the taking of this photograph. I took it home. As you can see, there's half the board lying on the table. This stupid tiny table. What is this? A table for ants? And I got some little wooden batons which I was going to use to give it a bit of a lip. So any wayward dice didn't go flying around on the floor, in theory. Scuffed up the wood with a knife just to give it something to bond onto with the wood glue. This is how a knife scores wood. You put the pointy bit into the wood bit. The idea was to put the wood glue on, clamp it in place, and then hammer a few nails in just for extra support. Once the nails are in, you could really take the clamps off, to be totally fair. It wasn't going anywhere. And the wood glue would just strengthen it once it's set after, 24 hours or so. The most important thing to remember is, make your hands look workmanly. To do this, I spray them with black paint, and also have an emo thumb. Then apply the wood glue to the scored face of the edging, and clamp it in place. It is important at this stage not to bend over the table with a sudden movement to collect, say, a knife or saw, because the clamps will take the eyeball out of your very own head. This is to be avoided. Here it is from a slightly different angle. Note a small bear with an upside down heart. Symbolism. Always find it best as well to drill some little pilot holes when using nails, especially when you're close to the edge of the wood, because when you put a nail in at the edge of the wood, if you haven't got a pilot hole, it can force the timbers apart and you get splittage. You don't want splittage. In this shot, you can see where I've clamped the wood either side of where the nail will be driven in. The nails are in position in the pilot hole, the hammer close at hand. And there we go. Simple really, the edging's fitted all the way around now, and that's the two pieces just sitting together. But it's wood colour. You don't get wood colour in 41st millennium. All the trees are dead. So I painted it black with some black chalkboard paint. Really fighting the urge here to risk a copyright strike by playing the Rolling Stones. Will not do it. And just to ensure that when the two pieces are on the table, they don't get knocked and skitter apart from each other, leaving minis to fall down the chasm that opens beneath them, I fitted two little clasps. Originally I had little hook and eye hooks on the outside of this, but what I found was they kept catching on the front of my pants, so I decided to fit them on the inside. So these don't get in the way when I'm walking around the board or when I'm standing it up in two halves, storing it behind my settee, sofa or couch. Delete as appropriate depending on your own region. So there you go, dead easy. Table's done. The mat fits in there with plenty space around the outside. Put a cup of tea down, put your notes down, your dice, tape measure, put your reinforcements at the side. You don't want to put them on a table off over there. You might forget about them like some kind of idiot. Never happened to me. And you've also got plenty of space to take your casualties off as well. You've even got space for a dice tray. Now I didn't have a dice tray. But remember those offcuts? The kind man at B&Q cut off for us? But that was for a dice tray. And here it is. So I cut a section off to form the base of the dice tray. Now I wish I'd got that kind man at B&Q to cut that off, because I had to do it with a handsaw. And it was a little bit wobbly. Then using a right angle, a rasp and a file, I went along and just made sure the edge was totally flat and 90 degrees to the surface. So I got my mitre saw out to cut the edges, because with the success I had cutting it straight on the base, I was buggered if I was going to do it by hand again. Don't worry, I'm fully aware in this picture there is no blade in the mitre saw. I did put one in to make the cuts. And with the bits cut, following a similar technique that I used on the table, rough up the bits I'm going to get glued, drill those pilot holes, glue, clamp and nail. Once it was together, I give it a coat of the old blackboard paint. Didn't really bother painting the bottom of it, because it was then inlaid with the finest felt of Amazon for under a £5. Then it was just a matter of trimming off the excess felt. It's very simple and pretty straightforward, and also fucking massive. I mean seriously, it's massive. Look. But it's a 6! Did you see? Damn you, gravity! It works. Oh, put it down there. Whew, that's my workout of the day. Etc. So, there you go. Table and dice tray. I don't know how much a board cost. Can't remember. Truth be told, bought it a few months ago. What are you going to do? But I think it was about 20 quid. Glue was a couple of quid. The felt was a couple of quid. The paint was 5 quid or so. All in, 40 quid. Easy for everything. I had some of the bits and bobs, nails and that knocking around anyway. But yeah, totally excellent. And when I've been to mates' houses for smaller games, I take half a board. Just put it on my arm. Jump on the bus and we're away. Forget my army sometimes. So yeah, I mean I can take that anywhere. It's in half. I can put it in the car if I'm going somewhere to an event. I've never been to an event in my life, but you know, maybe one day I will. Or if I'm going somewhere just to play the mate's house who goes, oh, I haven't got a table, but I have got tressels. Then I can turn up with my tabletopper and go, don't you worry son, I've got you covered. Brilliant. So, I hope you enjoyed that. Hope you find some use out of it. If you don't, ah well, never mind. You've just listened to me witter on until this point in the video. You might as well stick around to the end, which is now. So don't forget to hit like and subscribe. And until next time, take care. Do Americans have DIY? Shit! Oh no! Don't go in there! That's the Wicked Witch of the East! I don't think it makes us different. I still look like an old fucking cunt though, you know what I mean? Right, general terms with a hobby, like... Oh, went the wrong way there, did you notice? One of the problems with 40k though is the amount of space it takes up. And I'm not talking, you know, general terms like... Oh, fuck off! Fuck off! Don't forget to hit like and subscribe. And until next time, take care. A thumb